Assalamualaikum students, I am Shiza Noor, your biology teacher, and I welcome you all to DPS online classes. Students, before we start our lecture, I would like to tell you the main objectives of today's lecture. By the end of this lesson, you all will be able to explain the basic functioning of kidney, which involves three important steps, that is pressure filtration, selective reabsorption, and tubular secretion. You will be able to describe the chemical composition of urine and osmoregulatory function of kidney. So let's start our topic, which is chapter number 11, homeostasis. This chapter is already under discussion as you have studied about the structure of nephron and kidney in your previous lecture. And in today's lecture, we shall discuss about the working of kidney, or how does a kidney function. The main contents of today's lecture are functioning of kidney, chemical composition of urine, and osmoregulatory function of kidney. So I shall start from the first topic, that is functioning of kidney. As we all know, kidney is the main organ of our excretory system or urinary system. Therefore, the main function a kidney performs is to remove the excessive toxic materials or the removal of unnecessary material from our body. The main function of kidney is urine formation, which takes place in three steps. Number 1, pressure filtration, number 2, selective reabsorption, and number 3, tubular secretion. As you can see in this picture, this is the structure of kidney. A kidney has a renal artery and a renal vein. The blood, waste and water, which includes glucose, salt or any other material, it enters the kidney through renal artery. After entering in the kidney, all these materials get filtered in the kidney. And after filtration, this filtered blood or excess water leave the kidney through this renal vein. And the excess water and toxic waste, which is unnecessary for your body or harmful for your body, it leaves the kidney via ureter in the form of urine. So this urine formation is the main function of kidney, which involves these three important steps. So let's start from step number 1, that is pressure filtration. Pressure filtration is a very important step in functioning of kidney. First of all, when blood enters the kidney via renal artery, this is the renal artery through which blood enters into the kidney. It goes to many arterioles. You can see the arteriole here, like incoming arteriole and outgoing arteriole. And then to glomerulus. Glomerulus is an important structure of nephron, which is basically a network of capillaries. The pressure of blood is very high, and so most of the water, salts, glucose and urea of blood is forced out of the glomerular capillaries. Now what happens here, as the blood enters into the glomerulus, there is an increase in the pressure of blood. And due to this increased blood pressure, water, salt, glucose or urea that is present in the blood is forced out or expelled out of the glomerular capillaries. And this material, which is filtered from the glomerulus, then moves into the Bowman's capsule. This cup-shaped structure is called Bowman's capsule. The material passes into the Bowman's capsule and is now called glomerular filtrate. Because this filtrate is made by glomerulus, that is why it is called glomerular filtrate. Now there is one important thing to understand, that blood cells and proteins are not filtered through the glomerular capillaries because they are relatively larger in size. So it is very clear that capillaries are very small vessels they can only allow some of the selective or smaller particles to move across them. But blood cells and proteins, due to their larger size, cannot move across through the glomerular capillaries. Now this filtrate from Bowman's capsule moves into the proximal tubule, from where the second step, selective reabsorption, is started. Second step, selective reabsorption. When the glomerular filtrate passes from glomerulus into the proximal convoluted tubule, this filtrate is reabsorbed here by different capillaries which surrounds the renal tubule. So 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed into the blood capillaries surrounding the renal tubule, and it occurs through osmosis, diffusion, and active transport. Osmosis is the movement of water molecules across a semi-permeable membrane, while diffusion is the movement of molecules from higher to lower concentration, and active transport is the movement of molecules from lower to higher concentration using ATP or energy. Now water and most of the glucose is reabsorbed by proximal convoluted tubule right here. You can see the capillaries are doing the reabsorption of salt, glucose, water, or any other material that is present in that filtrate. Salts are reabsorbed by active transport and water is reabsorbed by osmosis, while glucose is reabsorbed by diffusion. Students, now we will see some other parts of nephron which are involved in selective reabsorption. Here is a picture of structure of nephron. You can see the proximal tubule where reabsorption takes place. In the structure of nephron, there is a loop of Henle which consists of two important limbs, that is descending limb of loop of Henle and ascending limb of loop of Henle. The reabsorption of water occurs in descending limb of loop of Henle, whereas the reabsorption of salts occurs in ascending limb of loop of Henle. So the reabsorption takes place in proximal tubule, after which the filtrate moves towards the loop of Henle. And here the reabsorption of water and salt occurs. After this, it moves towards the distal convoluted tubule. And this distal convoluted tubule again allows the reabsorption of water into the blood. So this was all about the selective reabsorption. Now let us see the third important step, which is tubular secretion. Students, due to glomerular filtration and selective reabsorption, the normal pH of blood may disturb because there occurs the reabsorption of water, salts, urea, glucose, many other important materials that are present in the blood. To maintain this normal pH, different ions, creatinine, urea, they are secreted from blood into the filtrate in renal tubule. They become the part of this filtrate in renal tubule. And this is done to maintain the blood at a normal pH. After the above mentioned steps, the filtrate present in renal tubule is now known as urine. And it moves into the collecting ducts and then into the pelvis. As you can see in this picture, after glomerular filtration and selective reabsorption, this filtrate moves towards the collecting duct, from where it moves into the pelvis and secreted out from our body. Students, now we will summarize all these three steps of functioning of kidney with the help of a diagram. This is the structure of a nephron, and we will see that how three important steps of functioning of kidney works. Number 1, pressure filtration. Number 2, selective reabsorption. and number 3, tubular secretion. So first of all, in pressure filtration, the blood enters into the kidney with the help of renal artery. As the blood enters in the kidney, it goes into the glomerulus, which is the network of capillaries in nephron. In this glomerulus, the blood will filter and water, glucose, salt, urea, all these materials will be filtered from the blood. And this filtrate is called glomerulus filtrate. This glomerular filtrate will then move towards the proximal convoluted tubule and it goes towards the loop of Henle. From proximal convoluted tubule, this filtrate will be selectively reabsorbed. As it is selective reabsorption, it means only some of the selective material will be reabsorbed here, and they are water, glucose and salt. Water will be reabsorbed by osmosis, glucose will be reabsorbed by diffusion, and salt will be reabsorbed by active transport. So the glomerular filtrate move towards the proximal convoluted tubule and then to loop of Henle. As you can see, there is a network of capillaries around the proximal tubule and all this renal tubule. And these capillaries are responsible for the selective reabsorption. Loop of Henle consists of two important limbs, descending limb of loop of Henle and ascending limb of loop of Henle. The descending portion will reabsorb water, whereas the ascending limb of loop of Henle will absorb the salts. This filtrate will then move towards the distal convoluted tubule, which is involved in the reabsorption of water. Now the last step is tubular secretion, which is involved in maintenance of normal pH of blood, which is about 7.3 to 7.4. And to do so, different ions, creatinine and urea are secreted from blood and added into this filtrate, which is coming towards the collecting duct. And this maintains the pH of blood. This filtrate which comes towards the collecting duct is now called urine, which then moves to the pelvis and is excreted out from our body. As you can see in this picture, that after filtration, the kidney transfers the filtrate, which is actually urine, to the ureter, from where it moves towards the urinary bladder and expelled out of our body. At the final stage, urine is only 1% of the originally filtered volume, and the typical volume of urine in an adult is around 1.4 liters per day. So students, this was all about the functioning of kidney and its 3 important steps. Now we will see the chemical composition of urine in our body. It consists of some chemicals with specific concentration or percentage. First of all, water is 95%, urea is 9.3 gram per liter, chloride ions are 1.87 gram per liter, sodium ions are 1.17 gram per liter, potassium ions are 0.750 gram per liter, and it also has some other ions in compound which have variable amount. Students, now we shall discuss about the osmoregulatory function of kidney. What is osmoregulation? It is defined as the regulation of the concentration of water and salts in blood and other body fluids. We have studied about osmoregulation at the start of this chapter, and it is very important function of kidney as it balances the fluid levels in our body. So let us see how kidney works as an osmoregulatory part of our body. Kidneys play an important role in osmoregulation by regulating the water contents of our blood. And it is a very important process as excessive loss of water concentrates the body fluids, whereas the excessive intake of water dilutes them. Now this is very important point. As you know, if we are talking about the fluid content in our body, this fluid content must be at a maintained or balanced level. If water is produced in large amount, it will dilute the body fluid. And if water is in shortage or there is excessive loss of water, then in that case it will concentrate the body fluid. So we will see that how kidney helps in osmoregulation of water. There are two different conditions here. First of all, we will discuss about the excessive amount of water. When there is excessive amount of water in body fluids, kidney form dilute or hypotonic urine. What is hypotonic? You have studied about isotonic, hypotonic and hypertonic solution. And hypotonic is a solution which contains less amount of solute and large amount of solvent, which means it is a dilute solution. And as we are having large amount of water in our body, the kidney needs to produce dilute urine. And for this purpose, kidney filter more water from glomerular capillaries into Bowman's capsule. At the time of filtration, kidney will allow the more filtration of water so that we can get rid of extra water. Similarly, less water is reabsorbed and abundant dilute urine is produced at the time of selective reabsorption. And it brings down the volume of body fluids to normal. Now what happens when there is shortage of water? In that case, kidney filters less water from glomerular capillaries so that it can reduce the loss of water. The rate of reabsorption of water is increased so that large amount of water can be restored or reabsorbed in body. Less filtration and more reabsorption. Both of these processes produce small amount of concentrated hypertonic urine. What is hypertonic? It is a kind of solution in which less amount of solvent is produced and large amount of solute is produced, which means it is a concentrated solution. And it increases the volume of body fluids to normal. So this is how a kidney works in osmoregulation of our body. So student, this was all about the basic functioning of kidney, the chemical composition of urine and osmoregulatory function of kidney. Now we will assess our lecture with the help of some multiple choice questions. Number 1. Which of the following is not filtered through glomerular capillaries? Blood cells and proteins, fats and proteins, fats and salts, salts and proteins. And the correct answer is blood cells and proteins, because glomerular capillaries will not allow the large size particles to move across them. Number 2. The typical volume of urine produced by an adult in liters per day is 2.4 liters, 1.4 liters, 4.2 liters or 4.1 liters. And the correct answer is 1.4 liters per day. Number 3. Which of the following is reabsorbed by the descending limb of loop of Henle? Salts, glucose, water or urea? The correct answer is water, which is reabsorbed by the descending limb of loop of Henle. Students, now we will discuss some short question answers related to this topic. Number 1. What is meant by pressure filtration and tubular secretion? You will write about the process of glomerular filtration here, in which a filtrate is formed in glomerulus by increase in blood pressure. In tubular secretion, you will write about the urine formation which takes place after filtration and selective reabsorption. Number 2, what is glomerular filtrate? You will write about the formation of this filtrate, high blood pressure, and the contents which are filtered here, which means water, urea, salts, and glucose. Number 3, describe selective reabsorption in the nephron. It is the second important step involved in functioning of kidney. You will write about the reabsorption of chemicals from proximal convoluted tubule, then loop of Henle, and at the end, distal convoluted tubule. You will also write about osmosis, diffusion, and active transport which are involved in this reabsorption. Number 4, how kidneys work when there is an excessive amount of water in body fluids. We have studied about both these two conditions in body fluids, when there is large amount of water or when there is less amount of water. You will write about the first condition which we have discussed above, about the excessive amount of water, in which a kidney will produce dilute urine or hypotonic urine. It will allow more filtration and less reabsorption of water. Number 5, when kidney form hypotonic and hypertonic urine. The same two conditions, excessive amount of water and less amount of water, you will write here. Number 6, write down the normal chemical composition of urine. You will write the table here which we have studied above. You will write the chemicals like water, sodium ions, potassium ions along with their particular concentration or percentage. Now we will discuss about long question answers of this topic. Number 1, describe the steps involved in functioning of kidney. You will write the complete 3 steps: pressure filtration, selective reabsorption, and tubular secretion. And along with this, you will also draw a diagram of this question. Number 2, describe the osmoregulatory function of kidney. In this, you will write the definition of osmoregulation and then the complete function of kidney, that how does it work in large amount of water and less amount of water. Students, this was all about today's topic. I hope you are clear with all the concepts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.